Separated from my boyfriend, how do you deal with the past memories and stop dwelling on how much you love and miss them because the hurt can be unbearable often? Great question. Kind of what I said to the young lady before is that you got to retrain your mind to view God the way he was supposed to be viewed from the beginning. The reason why we are drastically disappointed by people is because we really haven't embraced the person of God. The more you begin to understand that he's a present help in a time of trouble and that he's supposed to be the center focus of your life and everything else kind of comes in focus in his providential timing, then you won't put false expectations on people. What happens to a lot of people is that in their singleness, they have deep, desperate desires for love. And then when a person looks like love comes into the equation, that person latches onto them strongly. And then when that person has had their full or they're just too full of you and it's too much going on and they leave, you utterly cast down, you deep in frustration, your feelings are over the place because your mind hasn't been rooted, your mind hasn't been anchored. Now, you got to take control of your mind by reverse engineering your thoughts about the whole situation. Sometimes when you leave thoughts in your mind, they'll make you go crazy. But when you put those thoughts on paper, you will see just how crazy those thoughts are. You're not crazy. Those thoughts, entertain those thoughts made you kind of crazy. But when you see those thoughts in your paper, you be like, okay, let me examine my boyfriend. Let me examine my ex-boyfriend. What did he really bring to the table? Was he really a God-fearing man? Did he cause me to compromise? Did he cause me to not be my best self? Was he just there for the goods and not there for my ultimate good? And you begin to look at those different things, and you begin to see the facts behind those feelings. Like, you know what, God, you're right. I was idolizing this guy or the idea of a person. It's not the individual, it's the ideal behind the individual. Now, what does that mean? It's not really the individual that causes us to be infatuated. It's the ideals we have about the individual, meaning that the idea of that person being a husband, the idea, the fantasy, the thought processes of what it would be like to be married. And then you start thinking about how many kids you have. And he's just talking about how good the burger was. You over there thinking about how great of a mother she'll be. And all she's talking about is what she studied in college. And so you begin to think about the idea of the person and not the individual. And then when the individual is plain sight, the ideas start having you put false expectations on the individual, and the individual is like, man, this is too much for me to bear. Or the individual takes his full, her full, and then leaves you abandoned. That's the dangers of ideas. The idea of love is not the same as the individual that God would have you be in love with. Because when you with the person, that person has flaws, that person has fears, that person has frustrations, that person has the things they love to do for fun. You know what I'm saying? And if you have this constant idea of a person, but you're not looking at the individual, then you're going to be infatuated until real life marital relationship stuff happens. And then you're like, whoa, snap, whoa, Jack. See what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's going to be right now. You're going through the withdrawal period. You separated from your boyfriend. How do you deal with the past memories? You change the way you look. That was a period in time of a place to learn. If you want to earn, you got to learn. And if life is not about wins and losses, it's about wins and lessons, my friend. So my advice to you is to look at that, look at all the memories and say, you know what? Because sometimes we can monument memories that was meant to be broken down. And what I mean by that is we make memories into idols. We make memories into places of where I was my best versus what new memories can I make? Don't worry about old memories. Make new memories with you and God and with you and yourself. And those memories will just be reference points of how to apply differently in a new relationship. Uh, I'm separated from my boyfriend. How do you deal with the past memories and stop dwelling on how much you love and miss them? First off, if your time is your life, you dwell on stuff, you dwell on stuff. Um, when you find yourself dwelling on stuff and you're not dwelling on your stuff, then something's missing. You have to look at your life and be like, okay, what am I supposed to do here? It's easy, it becomes easier to get over a person when you are productive in your purpose. It becomes easier the more you are productive. If you want to get over a person, get to know the person God, get to know yourself as a personality, and be productive, then that person will be an afterthought. So you got to say, okay, what am I dwelling on? And you got to be intentional in dwelling on the things that God wants you to dwell on and progress accordingly. It's unbearable right now. It's hurting now because you're going through the withdrawal period. The withdrawals is what draws you back into losing your draws sometimes. And you got to deal with the withdrawal period aggressively, intentionally, fervently, and precisely by doing this. This is how you handle withdrawal period of a breakup. Number one, you got to understand that things don't break apart. Some things don't fall apart. They fall into place. You can overcome the withdrawal period by understanding that God's hand is in the mix, that God is breaking things apart to build you into the peace that you need to be. So what you do, number one, is this. Let me back up. How to handle the withdrawal period of a breakup. Number one, you got to get a grip of yourself. You got to sit yourself down and then you examine yourself. Examine everything about the person. Find the facts that will go against your feelings. Because what most people do is, I look at the feelings, I look at the feelings, I look at the feelings, I look at the feelings. No, you got to find the facts behind the feelings. You got to get a grip of yourself. Stop, think, process. Why am I so caught up in this person? And then you gotta almost materialize it. You gotta put it in paper, put it on your dashboard, put it on the mirror in your bathroom, put it in your glove compartment. So when you have a bad moment, you can bring the facts out and be like, that's why they're not in my life. What helps me when my body feels weird is that I find the facts. Oh, that's right. Did I drink water today? Instead of going to WebMD thinking I got cancer, thinking I'm going crazy, I just think about, did I drink enough water today? Did I take care of the basics today? And when I have those facts, it'll keep me from being anxious about, oh snap, I got cancer in the lungs. No, you don't got cancer. You just need to probably drink some water. You need to probably just go exercise. See what I'm saying? So what you do is you find the facts behind the feelings. Number two, how to get through the withdrawal period is you gotta just really get in to your purpose heavily. I'm telling you, that's what helped me with a lot of things in my life. I found the facts behind the feelings. I began to get to know God better. And then the third thing, I got productive in my purpose. That's what, man. Where do you think these 6 books came from? You see what I'm saying? You got to turn your pain into paper. You got to, man, has Adele not taught you something? Has these artists taught you anything? You got to turn your pain into paper. And that's what I did. I turned my pain into paper, as in books, and I made those books turn into money. And now all that stuff makes me laugh because that's how funny it was. Money has a way of making you. What I'm saying is turn your pain into paper. Find a way to be productive. Find your way to make residual income, residual impact from the impacts that you had in your past and keep it moving. And that's how you handle withdrawal periods. Hope to help. But y'all, I've been going for 50